Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin.
Good afternoon. There's a button down at the bottom that says reactions. If you can hear me, just put a thumbs up. Okay. You can actually set these, I just found this out, to match your skin tone. Like 5 different choices. So just so you know, I was all set about 4 o'clock, 4:05, getting everything ready for class. And the item that I was performing stopped and my internet had gone out completely. I think I'm back now. So I'm gonna, if you lose me, just hang on. Right now I'm on my hotspot on my phone, and you know, I can't really trust it too much. All right, so we're connected back to the internet. If I lose you, just be patient. We'll come back or we'll resume. Today is mostly an introductory day. So I'm Richard Schmidt, and instructor of record for this section of 1123, English 1123, section Z27. I don't remember the CRIN number, the 5-digit number that comes after it, 16 something. This is Comp 1. You know, all universities follow some kind of numbering system, oftentimes in the same system. So we're in the Texas A&M system. They'll follow all the same numbers. Sometimes the whole state will follow, public institutions will follow. But anyway, 1123 is just the number that's designated for this course. 1133 is Comp 2. My job, any teacher of this course, I think, our jobs are to make sure that you're fully prepared to be successful in really Comp 2. So it's kind of a weird thing, but I'm laying the groundwork, the foundation. And let's say you like me this semester and you want to take me again, you're going to get more of the same, just a little bit more intense in Comp 2. The assignments are a lot similar. The textbook is the same thing. So I'm just giving you a little background. I welcome you to my course, or our course. It's not my course, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's your course more than it's mine. I'm just the guy who's going to validate that you have achieved the outcomes, what we call the outcomes, things that you need to achieve. So before we do anything else, I'm going to ask for you all to chime in and tell me about yourself. One thing about procedures, many professors have asserted that they feel it's necessary to have you display yourself, your camera. I have mixed feelings about that. I don't really care as long as you are sincerely present. Meaning, if you don't want to be seen, I get it. I do the same thing when I go to these kind of meetings. But as long as you are, if I were to call on you, hey, Dennis, you asked, are we having class? I said, yes. I didn't respond very quickly to your email because I was struggling with internet issues. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dennis.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm a agricultural business major, minor in management informational system. Yeah, then Stuckins. This is my junior year. It's kind of funny that I'm in this class because I just kind of wanted to make take most of my major classes first. So really just jumping into this is just kind of funny because it's like, oh, well, it's just a regular basic class to get done. So.
Right. Yeah, it's freshman comp. So I don't know, then you can be, I'm not appointing you, but you can be kind of a mentor to the rest of the class to understand how things operate. If you've been at PV the whole time?
Well, yeah, the whole time. Right now I'm currently just at home.
Okay. Well, welcome to the class. We'll try to make it beneficial and positive for you. You're right, it is a kind of a little out of order. A class like this and the Comp 2 class are supposed to prepare you for all the other classes, but it is what it is, as our president likes to say. President of the United States, not the college, but not the university. Anybody else want to chime in?
My name is Tajanae. I am a freshman, and I look forward to having a good time this year.
I hope so. Things are different. It's unfortunate, but I hope it gets all smoothed out so that you can enjoy the college, not just you, Tajanae, but everybody can enjoy the college experience. How many of you had your senior year kind of fudged up?
Everybody.
Man, you don't even know the struggle.
They didn't even get to see me pop out for prom. Like,
exactly.
I wanted to tee up at graduation.
We both there and both paying attention. That's fine. Whatever we got to do to get through this. I ain't never had to do this before, and I'm sure you haven't either. We've never been through anything like this before.
Oh. Nope. It's all new territory, and there you go. Maybe we're trailblazers. Let's be positive about it. We'll do it. I can only speak for my own class, and if you work hard, you show up, we'll all be fine. And maybe come January next semester, we can get back to a little normal world. I don't know. I can't promise that. It's out of my realm. Anybody else want to introduce yourself? Michael, you were talking.
Yeah, my name is Michael, but I prefer Mike, and looking forward to learning what you're gonna teach.
All right. Chanel, I'm not sure I pronounced with the apostrophe there. Mr. or Mrs. Williams? I think.
Before this class started,
Yes.
we finally got it cleared for now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Return email.
I can.
But I sent you the links
Can you hear me now?
to the book that you can download from the library
I don't know
for
what's
free.
coming from.
Something wrong with my
Also
phone.
sent you
We can hear you, girl.
a link.
Okay, what was the
It's a
question?
supplement.
We just
It'll be
introduce
an
ourselves.
ebook. It'll be an online book, but it's like $56.
Yeah.
And this is where your assignments are going to come from that you're going to be doing. So you have to get this. Okay.
Is that another teacher talking?
And
Yeah, I'm sorry. They got
is
me
the one
like
that you can
2
get
classes
free.
at the same time, and I've been trying to change it, but
that,
nobody been helping
I'm not
me.
sure
So
you-
I have
that's
to do
the
2 classes at the
instructions
same
on
time.
how to download it,
Crazy.
so you don't have to pay for
Huh?
it. All right. So this is African American Heart, and we're gonna start off.
It's weird because I don't
to
know.
understand
But
what you have to understand
yes, my name is Chanel Williams.
and the environment around the
What I
scholar
supposed to say?
context, which was created. This particular
I'm
study
sorry.
started
Because I'm trying to listen to you and him.
off- started in Africa,
It's really funny because
and we start there.
you chimed in
And we
before.
deal with the
I heard
slave
a
trade.
male voice. And that's
Yeah.
what
And art that was created during that time.
I'm trying to listen to you and him. I don't know. Like, I got to get this changed ASAP.
All right. Well, welcome to the class. You might want to mute yourself.
Answers to
All right. Madison?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I'm Madison. I'm from Belton, Texas. I'm majoring in biology so I can become a dentist, and I'm a freshman.
Okay, good. I'm just curious, why dentistry? Just
It might sound weird, but like I don't know. I don't want to say I like teeth, but like I don't know. It sounds weird, but I don't
okay.
know.
Well, I don't know that much about it, but I know dentists make pretty good amount of, pretty good living.
Well, that's great.
I went to when I was very young. I went to the Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana, so I went to the LSU dental school because I was poor, to get a lot of my stuff fixed. And it was very fun because you're dealing with young people who kind of practicing on you.
Yeah. Well, look. There you go.
Well, welcome to the class. I'm squinting because the light on my computer, I feel like, that preacher guy is always, but shines like right at me. Anybody know how to turn the light off? I'm gonna figure it out. Jasmine?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. My name is Jasmine Austin. I'm a freshman. I come from Port Arthur, Texas, and I'm majoring in kinesiology to become a physical therapist.
Were you hit hard? I don't know, what was that, about 3 years ago when all that flooding happened down toward Port Arthur?
Honestly, my house wasn't really affected because like how my house is set up, but we did lose like our carpet and had to put new floors down. But other than that, we were fine.
Losing track of where I am. Diaja? Diaja?
It's Deasia. It's Deasia. Yeah, I'm Deasia. I'm majoring in nursing to be a labor and delivery nurse because I think I'm addicted to babies. But I'm from Indiana, or Indianapolis. Yeah,
Okay.
see, I'm a
From
French.
Indiana.
Period.
What are you called? Hoosiers? Is that what they
We don't want to bring that up. Don't bring that up.
I had a best friend when I was a kid who came from Indiana. I don't know that much about Indiana.
I don't even know what a Hoosier is.
Yes.
I don't either. That's a good question. What the hell is a Hoosier?
Oh,
It's like the Sooners, the Oklahoma Sooners. I know what it is now, but I didn't for a long time. Like, what the hell is a Sooner? It's a wagon. You know, because like people traveled in wagons to, I guess, go west to Oklahoma. You know, I didn't write this script. Kaylin?
Yes. My
Hi.
name's Kaylin. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and this is my sophomore year in college. I'm a criminal justice major. I was taking other classes before this.
Okay. What do you want to do with that? Like police work, or what is that?
FBI.
Oh, all right. Keep your nose clean. You know, stay on the straight and narrow, whatever they say.
Yeah.
Amari? Did I call him you already?
No. My name is Amari. I'm a freshman and I'm majoring in nursing.
So we got at least 2 nursing people. That's interesting. I want to come back to that in a few minutes. Oh, this is a challenging one because you get 2 consonants together. 3, well, depends on what you call Q and U. Dequasia, dequaza. I don't know.
DeQuasia.
Oh,
DeQuasia.
okay.
My name's DeQuasia Smith. I'm a sophomore in college. Biology major, chemistry minor, and I want to be an OBGYN.
You like sciences then, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you got me beat there. But, all right. I think I got everybody that's here. Did I miss anybody? All right. Well, this is going to be a fairly short session today because it's introductory and we're still working on all the little problems. So you're just going to come away from today just basically knowing what it's all about. You might already know that, you know, especially some of you sophomores or beyond, you kind of get the whole routine. And if you're a freshman, it's not all that, you know, complicated. You're taking a writing class. It's a basic writing class. Just the core curriculum. You know, it's just one of those basic things you have to have, like algebra or whatever. Most of the course requirements come outside of me. They're from the department. So I just follow the design of the department. And I do my best to help you succeed at the challenges that have been set up. I don't find them all that difficult except for the midterm exam. And we'll talk about that. But today I just wanted to make sure you were all okay with getting on Canvas. Do we have questions about Canvas or e-courses, or because they've thrown, you know, this COVID thing has thrown us all to the wolves in a way. Like, we gotta kind of figure it out as we're moving along. So if you have any questions that I could answer or at least research to answer, let me know either now or email me so you're not left out there hanging. Have you all been able to at least look at Canvas?
Yes.
Okay, that's good if you have. Sorry, I lost you. So I'm going to share the screen. All right, before we get there, let's talk about procedure. Here we are, we're in class. You all get that now? A lot of my classes, where are we meeting? This is where we meet. We don't have an on-campus class at all, ever. Everybody okay with that? Well, or at least understand it?
Yes.
So you'll have enough time.
Yes.
Yeah, this class was designated as synchronous online, which means all the work is going to be, you know, we're going to, what's the fancy word for it? We're going to interact or whatever through Canvas. And then we'll have sessions like this, which are supposed to substitute for real-time face-to-face. So I've decided for several of my classes to alternate. And so we're going to meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you'll have Friday off from meeting. There'll just be work that will end Wednesday that will be due between Wednesday and the next, the following week. Everybody understand that? That's the online synchronous aspect. We meet, but we're also online. Slow me down if you. That's just a procedural thing. So this is our classroom. That's why I said, I don't care if you show yourself. Even attendance is kept. It's kept automatically by either Zoom or Canvas. I can't remember how it works. I'm going to have to look into that. Doesn't matter for today. But attendance is mostly for record keeping, just to keep track of who's showing up and who's not showing up. It doesn't count for a grade, toward your grade, whether you're here or not. Participation is what counts toward or against your grade. So as long as you're pretty much in attendance or present and you're completing the work of the class, your participation grade is good. Everybody follow that?
Yes, sir. I got a question though.
Yes.
You want us to take notes today or no?
Well, that's up to you. There's nothing really like, there's not going to be a quiz or anything today. Today's just introductory.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to look at the syllabus, and the syllabus is available to you to look at and study, to understand. So I don't think there's anything note-taking worthy. Unless you want to say, oh, that Chanel person, take a note. She's got noisy stuff happening in the background. I take notes so I can remember you all better, right? Because I got 100 students that I just meet. And it's much easier for me in a real setting. And we get to know each other, we laugh, we got personalities. But this is kind of weird because you're little boxes to me and names. So we did roll call. I'm going to quickly look at Canvas just to show you what you need to make sure you are following. I got to share the screen first. So I took this picture of Tom Cruise and I put it right here in case you all needed to see. Actually, Tom Cruise is not that handsome. Let me think of somebody, but Brad Pitt. I'm on the wrong page here.
And Mr. Richard.
Yes, sir.
Are you good on that guitar?
Am I good? I'm okay. I like him more than I'm skillful. Why, do you play?
No, but I want to learn.
Well, learn. I can send you some links of a lot of good people on YouTube who take you from beginning to, wherever you want to go with it.
Cool.
I gotta set this here. All right, so this should be how you all see Canvas. Syllabus we'll take a look at in a second. It's important, but it's really just informational. Zoom, you can get to your Zoom meetings through here. And you can just follow them week by week. Or, now remember, we're not going to meet on every one of these days. This is just how Zoom made me set it up. So you only meet, don't pay attention to Sunday or Saturday or Tuesday. We only meet on Mondays and Wednesdays unless otherwise announced, and that would only be a Friday. Unless you want to meet me for office hours on Tuesday or Thursday. The way that Zoom works is you got to, in order for me to be able to set all of that up, I had to ask it to give me 3 days consecutively. So don't worry about that. It's not really a concern. Just show up on the days that you're supposed to, the Mondays and the Wednesdays. Modules is really kind of your go-to spot. I mean, I don't know how other instructors are handling it. Most of them are very new at this. I'm not new at Canvas. I did it before when I taught elsewhere. But it's still a work in progress because we're changing over from the other, from Moodle. But modules is the place to go to kind of keep yourself on track week to week. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create weeks. This repository, that's one of your fancy words that we're going to have as a vocabulary. A repository is just a place where you store things. It's like a closet, right? Or a bank. A bank is a repository where you put your money. Well, this is a place where I keep all good stuff. Now, textbook information. Got to pay attention to this. If you don't understand it, don't ask me to clarify. Ask one of your classmates who understands what I'm saying, because I can't answer you the way that you want me to. The textbook that's on the syllabus, right here, you all see it, is the 8th edition of the St. Martin's book, Everything's an Argument with Readings, 8th edition. I don't require a launch pad, so that's nothing. This is the technically required textbook by the department, adopted by the bookstore and all that kind of fun stuff. However, right here is a PDF of the same textbook, except it's the 7th edition. The only real major differences between the 7th edition and the 8th edition are page numberings and some different charts and maybe colors and graphs. If all that stuff is important to you, you have to buy the 8th edition. If all you're really concerned with is the material that you need to address, the content within, and you're okay with reading PDF, reading your material on a computer or your phone or whatever, then, that's your choice. I can't tell you what to do. If you don't follow what I'm saying, ask one of your classmates. There's a PDF file here for you that has all the material that you need from the textbook. Any other readings that you would need, I provide as a link. Either it would be a file or a link to something on the internet or whatever. Everybody okay with what I'm saying?
Yes.
Chanel, you get it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if anybody doesn't get it, ask Chanel what I'm saying. If you need a hard book, if you need a book in your hand that you like to, deal with, you got to go to the bookstore or someplace online to get that physical copy. Information right here from the syllabus that's important. There's my name. The previous class asked me how to pronounce it. Do you all think you know? Well, I don't give a shit how you pronounce it, but not like that. How about you not say that? Instead, you say Schmidt. But if we took the M out, you'd have the pronunciation that I just had. I just say the bad word and put an M in between. You got the pronunciation. Old German nerve. It actually means the same thing as Smith. If you know anybody named Smith, it goes back to what do you call it? Blacksmiths. We all have origins to our names. Who knows what it is? Office time. These are hours that I would be available for office time. But since I don't actually have an office that I can sit in and wait for you to come knocking on the door, I have to set up a meeting like this. So those are times I'm available. If you want to meet me, then you have to contact me and say, hey, can you set up a meeting for me to come at, whatever time you want it. And then I would give you that link and then we could meet. Does that make sense? Office time is mostly for you to have an individual interaction with me. you need assistance or whatever it would be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, sorry, you're a little too close to your microphone.
I say, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so we're not going to really go over the remainder of the syllabus, which is like all the policies and schedule. I'm just going to give you a brief glimpse of it by talking about it. You have to write 3 essays in this class that satisfy the outcomes of writing, which have to do with research and argument. So what's something we can argue about? I don't know, the economy, whatever. COVID. I think we should all be forced to wear bubbles around our whole bodies until the COVID-19 goes away. Now, you're supposed to be able to think on bubbles.
I agree.
Like
I
space.
know bubbles.
Yeah, not no bubbles.
I mean, I'm fine with the mask, but not no bubbles.
Yeah, me neither.
The rubber bubbles, like, like, but no, who wants to do that? So you're going to argue with me, right? You're going to say, no, that's against my rights as a human being. You force me to wear a, bubble suit. So that's the kind, we do it about academic subjects, but that's what you're going to be doing, taking on something where other people disagree with you. There are 2 or more sides to things. And ultimately, you're going to do some research. Now, I like to make things as easy as possible for my students. So I help you with the research, I guide you, I push you, I coerce you, I move you along, so that all I'm really doing is laying the groundwork for you to succeed in the next class, Comp 2, where you'll have to do more of that. So you've probably already done it in some grade. I don't know, when they might have made you do some kind of research and write about something. So you probably already have a basic idea of it. And we'll walk through the library, and I'm talking about a virtual walkthrough, like here. We'll look at things. I might have the librarian people do a tutorial so that you know how to find things. But ultimately, your last paper only needs 3 sources. I'll probably provide you with a bunch of selections that you can use as sources. So the legwork will be minimal. By legwork, I mean like getting out there and finding. All right, so for right now, none of this has been populated by anything yet. The assignments, I don't have the quizzes there. But like I said, eventually that's where I create them, but everything comes through modules. That's where you can find it if you don't know where else to look for it. We're going to leave the student view and talk about, on Wednesday, we're going to talk about plagiarism and cheating policies and all those kinds of procedural things that come from the university. I don't know if you all know it, but Prairie View takes what they call academic honesty or dishonesty seriously. So I don't know who you are or where you come from. I don't suspect anybody of having bad intentions, but the school warns against any kind of bad academic behavior pretty severely. So we'll look at those policies. I'm really just a go-between, right? You do have to submit your major work to Turnitin. I don't know if you're familiar with Turnitin. It's just a plagiarism percentage checker. We'll talk about it later when we get closer. And something called TaskStream. These are all things that you don't feel cloudy-headed or whatever, because I'll show it to you. We'll walk through it together. Just giving you the big picture right now. So finally, let's talk about the content of the class. You're going to write papers, you're going to read things, and I have to tell you to start thinking about it. Like, who are you? Jasmine, let me pick on you, Jasmine. You mind? Tell me about yourself more than you told me. What are you?
I'm a female.
Female.
I'm 18.
18.
Creative. I
Creative.
sew. I do hair.
Okay, those are good things. Those are traits about you that are more about you than just I'm a biology major or whatever. That's getting into what your identity is, right? Female. You're of an age group. Your age group is also part of a generational place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either do or don't fit with your generation, but it does exist. Where'd you grow up?
Port Arthur, Texas.
Port Arthur. Okay, so you're Texan, but Port Arthur is probably way different than, I don't know, maybe even Houston. I've never been to Port Arthur.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's part of who you are too. So all those things we call demographics, or some of them we call demographics. I want you all to kind of start thinking about your own demographic makeup, your age, your sex, your gender identity, if that's, other. Your socioeconomic background, your regional background, where you grew up, what kind of family you grew up in, and how that affected who you are. Age, religion, sometimes that plays a role, sometimes it's just, in the background, it's just what you are. But if you grow up in, say, a strict religious environment, well, that's going to kind of affect how you view the world and maybe how you want to interact with the world. What other things? Ethnicity. Are we all Americans in here? Are you all American residents?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, don't you have to be?
Well, no, you could be a foreign student, I guess, and that would be good. I don't want any of you to be, but it lends a different voice to it. But yeah, I guess you're right. In these times, it'd be hard, unless you were stuck here from before. Anybody not either non-religious or other religious? In other words, you're a Buddhist or a Muslim or something like that, a Jewish person. Most likely there's some denomination of Christian or a non-believer. That would be part of our demographics if I had to guess, if I had to throw a dart against the wall or whatever. But one of the things we can talk about is stereotyping, right? We look at people and we assume things about them because where they are, who they are, what they look like, how tall they are, all those kinds of things. And it's probably not accurate most of the time and probably not good. So one of the vocabulary things, by the way, your final exam is a vocabulary test that I create. Super easy.
Hey, Lev.
Our final exam is a vocabulary test.
Yeah, it's a vocabulary multiple choice.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Lev.
The midterm is a bitch, pardon my French, because it's created by the department. And so when we get there, we're going to have to slow down and do a really solid review so you know how to address the questions, how to react to the questions. It's only worth 5%, but 5% is 5%. But because we're dealing with identity issues, there are a few words that demographics is one. Demographics is those things that either you assume about yourself, like Jasmine did for us. She starts naming the things that you check off on a box or whatever, right? If you were filling out an application or something. It doesn't fulfill the idea of identity. It's just kind of superficial things. And then there's the other side of it where demographics are held by others about us, right? The government or schools or whoever. What's the makeup of Prairie View? How many percent of this, how many percent of that, and so on. And so that also doesn't really create a full sense of identity. It's part, but it's not a full thing. Related to all that are microaggressions. You know what microaggressions are? Anybody?
Wait, what you asked?
What is a microaggression? It's a term that was coined. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just something that we apply to a certain kind of behavior.
They're like environmental behavior or something.
It could be related to environment. So I said to Jasmine, I said, Jasmine, you're from Port Arthur? That's nice. That's sweet. I didn't say anything bad about Port Arthur. I just kind of chuckled and kind of seemed a little not nice about it, right?
Shady.
Oh, okay.
You know, for somebody from Port Arthur, you're pretty smart. That's microaggression. Oftentimes they have to do with any of the isms, because you're young, because you're of your race, because of your religion. Oh, for a Muslim, you're pretty sweet. That's like an attack against Muslims, right? Oh, Muslims are nasty people. Or you're young, you're pretty smart for a young person. Sounds like a compliment, but it's actually a microaggression. It's like a nasty kind of way to approach things. I'll give you a quick example when we were talking about this a few years ago. Now, you know about stereotypes, right? Sometimes stereotypes are steeped in truth. If I can find it, I asked the girl who gave it to me before for a link, and now I forgot it. But there's a series on YouTube where people answer questions about who they are, whether they're men, women, black, white, and things that we consider stereotypes, right? But sometimes stereotypes are right. For instance, they ask, I forget how it went, but they asked a question like, do you like fried chicken? And they're like, and they have to move like they're in a room or something, and they move to different places. So like, way yes, kinda, and no. And this segment's about black people, so they get like a variety, women, older, younger, that kind of thing. It's like maybe 7, 8, 9 people, can't remember, maybe only 6. So they asked that, and everybody moves to the yes side, except for one person, a woman. And she says, I don't like fried chicken, I'm a vegetarian. And the other people say, yeah, like fried chicken is the best thing in the world, right? Now, I agree with that, although fried chicken doesn't like me as much as I like it, if you know what I mean. But I love me some Popeyes. But, and that's fine. But my student told me this story. She was going into, what's it called? Chick-fil-A. No, I'm sorry. She was coming out of Chick-fil-A, and there was an older white lady going in. She was an African-American girl, young, your age, maybe a little older. And the older white, she didn't know this lady from anybody. The older white lady says, I hope you saved me some. That's a microaggression, because you're making an assumption about somebody based upon a stereotype. Everybody follow that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So microaggressions, it's an identity thing, just like stereotyping and condescending. Now, condescending is another word we're going to talk about, because that's what you do when you look down at people, right? Condescend. And so when I was talking with Jasmine, I'm not really picking on you. I just,
No, it's fine.
when I say you're pretty smart for a young person, you're rather sharp for a Port Arthur native. That's condescending. It's a microaggression, but it's also condescending to you. Or it could be condescending if I said, you probably really don't understand this microaggression thing, do you? Any of you? Probably not. See, I'm condescending. I'm making negative assumptions about you. So those are bad things. Those are traits that are bad. So that's kind of part of our content. I know I'm talking in big, broad terms. I'm not frozen. I was thinking about the guitar thing for a second. I don't think that could be negative. See, the way that Mike asked me about it wasn't negative. It's just a question, right? But I had a student one time said, we were talking in class, and he said, you must be you're one of those kind of guys that likes, because we're talking about movies. I love movies. He says, you're one of those kind of guys that likes Urban Cowboy and something else. I was like, well, it's kind of offensive. It's kind of a microaggression. So, you know, making an assumption about me based upon my age, maybe my sex, my race. I do like Urban Cowboy, by the way. No, I did way back in the day. So anyway, forget the guitar stuff. Our content, we're going to talk about these things. I don't want you all to talk, because like I keep reiterating to all my class, this is your class. This is your discussion. This is your road to travel. I'm just a guide. So we're going to relate that to the world we live in right now. We have a strange world, right? Anybody disagree with that? A tough time we're going through, because we have a perfect storm happening of various things. COVID, right? And that's affecting us all, the whole world. At the same time, we have the economy in shambles because of COVID and all the effects. And at the same time, we have social unrest. Mostly that dates back, so how far do you want to go back? Slavery, Jim Crow laws, the 60s. But mostly it was, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, like launched or whatever, by the brutal murder of George Floyd, right?
Yes.
And I keep telling my classes, you can disagree if you want, but social unrest, protest, and all those kinds of things, those are ways that we prompt change, get things to happen for the better, right? Get people to pay attention, to notice that there's something wrong. But unfortunately, all that good stuff, my daughter was involved in all those protests, but then COVID comes along and it's like, I don't want her out there with all those people breathing on her, right? Anyway, my point is we have all these kind of things happening to us all at the same time. And then we get the presidential election, and that presents us with some interesting place to be. And then we got hurricanes aiming at us. And so it's all this stuff. If we're in Arkansas right now, that's part of our identity to be Arkansas people. We don't have to worry about hurricane. We got to worry about tornadoes sometimes. So that's kind of the nature of our content. Examine our own identities and what we can do as we forge ahead. So whatever you're interested in. Had a couple of nursing people. I had a student, I think it was during the summer. We were talking about this identity stuff, and I kind of focused my intent on like public things like the media, social media, movies, television, whatever, and try to examine the injustices that happen to people, right? Whether it's sexism, with all that Harvey Weinstein stuff, all that bad stuff against women, or whether it's racism, outright racism, or it could be just like, like subtle racism, like people not getting jobs or not being represented properly in film or behind the scenes. But this student was a nursing student. She asked me, could she write on underrepresentation of African-American women in the nursing field. What do you all think about that topic? If you had been her instructor, what would you have told her? Anybody?
Can you repeat the topic real quick?
She wanted to explore, I guess, I forget how she initially asked, but she explored the very low representation of African American women in the nursing field. She didn't really focus on the medical field. She went for nursing, which is, I wish I could revisit it and ask her. But initially, I was sort of like, well, it's not really fitting what we were doing. Because it's a numbers game, right? You look at numbers and you say, well, you got this many people who occupy 100 nurses in a hospital, and 60% of them are, I don't even know what the numbers would be. 60% are probably female, 70% maybe female. I don't know. And of those females, 80% of those females are white. Okay, so what do you do with those numbers? Well, she did an interesting thing with the numbers. She turned it into how it affects healthcare. It's no longer just a numbers game, right? It's how it's going to affect people who are in the hospital and sick and potentially dying. If they don't get, their fair care because they're not being, and I'm not suggesting that white nurses are out to hurt people or anything. I'm just saying her point, my student's point, was that if you don't have a representation of people who understand what you're going through as an African American woman specifically, then you might not get, not really, I can't remember how she argued it, but it was really good that, for instance, one of her points was how many African American women die in childbirth. And it's way higher than, their counterparts. So anyway, I'm talking kind of vaguely about it because I don't remember it in full. It was just a very interesting approach to a bigger social issue, right? You talk about people living and dying, now you got my attention. So be thinking about all that. It could be about media if that's what you want it to be about, like, women in the media. There's lots to talk about there, like sexism and stuff like that. But if you have a specific kind of thing that you want to go toward, you're interested in animals, what kind of injustices are out there when it comes to animals. We'll talk about that when we get to ethos and pathos and all that, treatment of animals. So anyway, that's kind of the content aim that we're going for. And I think we're out of time. So we'll talk more about it on Wednesday. Not just the content, but where we're headed, the syllabus and all that. Anybody have any last questions? I know I've kept you over.
No.
Come with some good ideas and good questions. I'm ready to think and do and play.
No work.
Well, have a good evening. Jasmine, question?
Oh no, I was just clear about that.
So do we have any work this week?
You'll have work after Wednesday.
Okay, after Wednesday.
Ain't no more.
Actually, I think you have a short reading that you should do. It's called Strategies for Annotating a Text. It's on modules in the first week. Strategies for Annotating a Text. It's just
it's due today.
No, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. You just read it.
Okay.
And we'll just review it.
Say less than.
There are questions about it on the midterm. That's why I included it as a reading.
Okay, strategies for active reading and annotating a text.
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, sir.
No.
We done.
Nice meeting all y'all.
Nice meeting
y'all.
Nice meeting y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye, classmates.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's link up sometime.
Okay.
Somebody might want to lead the charge for a group meeting.
Oh yeah, group
We
me.
can talk about it on Wednesday, but just let you know.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm.
Have a good one.